there you are. I am a puppet, but not a puppet on a string, not a ventriloquist doll. I am all by myself, and if you want to see how I came here, just keep on watching and you'll see it clear. Let's get started. So for the look that I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna do face and a collar, and I don't know yet in which two colors I'm gonna do it, but it's got a lace, it's got a ribbon, and it's a puppet actually. What I'm gonna do first is do a very light foundation up to the neck, and for that I always use my Sussex, and that is in the number 1. It's a very pale but such a great foundation. Shake that booty, shake. Sorry. So just with a damp beauty blender, the face, the ears, and the first part of the neck. If you don't have a light foundation, mix in or use only concealer instead of foundation, or a bit of white cream paint in your foundation helps too. There are tricks for everything. Now, to prevent makeup from falling on my paint job on the body, I'm gonna do my face first, which is logical, because one drop of paint can ruin your entire look. Do not forget the ears, and this wonderful foundation is buildable. As you saw, I have a pigment spot here, and now it's gone. Just going over with a little bit extra. I'm also not going to use a different concealer, because this is supposed to be purely a flat face with a little bit of blush. Now I'm gonna take my Veroni white setting powder, and I do a little bit in a lid, and also with my beauty blender instead of with a brush, and I just take the back and I dab that so that it's more powdered off and easier to paint on, because it's a cream instead of paint that you normally use underneath. If you would use a liquid liner or anything right onto this, your tip is ruined and your liner will say, I'm dry. There. So now it's time to start the eye makeup. And for the brows, I am going very straight up, so your nose contour works its way into a brow. I'm gonna take a beige brownish eyeshadow and an angled soft brush, not a hard one, a soft, and I'm gonna take this brown, which I normally use for contour, so I'm now gonna use it for my nose contour, which I don't bring down. I blend it out in the center, so it's only gonna be that part on the nose itself, and then it goes up. Slightly moving away from each other, and once you think, okay, that's a nice height, you're gonna start your brows, but they start in a little bend that goes down, and then it goes up and makes a high curve and stops there. And it is not gonna be blended from there, so this has to be a harsh line, but it's gonna be very blended downwards like so. So I'm starting to do that, but it's gonna be in a darker brown or in a grayish color. I think it's gonna be gray, but I always like to map out my beginnings to know how much room I have left for my eye makeup. You can leave it in brown tones, depending on what color you're gonna use for the costume. Color, actually, it's not a real complete costume. There, that is the beginning of the brows. Then I'm gonna do a nice colored, and I have thought about using greens, something that I normally don't use, but there are so many beautiful green colors, and yeah, why not? Just taking the beigey brown and a bit of a fluffy brush, this ochreish, and that's gonna be my transition color. It's like the lightest part in army greens. Now I'm gonna go to this more bright green, and I'm gonna put that more in the center, but I'm also keeping it blended. So I am going to this darker green and then into this very dark green for the outer part, and that I'm gonna blend out a bit more high, but still keep it round, but in circular motions and not too big. I'm building it up. And just bringing the roundness to under the eye, but just the eye corner, so only there. And that's that. The rest is gonna be black eyeliner. I do have a light grayish one here that I'm gonna take on the tip of my finger, and I am gonna press that on the inner corners, but not too pretty, as in a look that we would do, because this is a doll. The paint is gonna be somewhat going off and being older. I'm also using this gray a little bit, just a little bit there, because it's allowed to shimmer, but it doesn't have to bring in color. There, that's enough, because for the rest I'm keeping my doll matte. Now what I'm gonna do is take some black eyeshadow and a flat appliement brush. It's actually a lip brush, but I'm taking black eyeshadow and I'm gonna start to shade the inner corners, and that is gonna come down and I'm painting my face, which is so terrible. That's what you get. Beauty blender for to repair stupidities. So as you see, I am making a shape that comes down and stops just about there. Because it is going over in a tear. You can also use a tip brush, as I call them, these, which are very handy for this finer work. But for a little bit of blending, like here, I prefer a little bit of a bigger brush, because I also want to blend that to the eye corner. As you see. it's blended, but the center stays crisp. And then that comes a little bit straight down, but very, very almost invisible. Like so. Then it's the outer edge, which you can do with a bigger one. And that comes to almost there. And nothing in that triangle. And this does not have to be perfectly the same on each side, because tears do not fall symmetrically. And this I am blending into the corner, and in this corner. It's looking very weird at the moment. So I'm fading it out, and then I'm gonna do my upper eyelid with a black eyeshadow, connecting it here and blending that. And I begin with only the moving part of my eyelid. Now I'm taking a more fluffy blending brush, taking the black, and now I'm gonna more divide it onto the green and give it a nice blend. Like a smoky eye actually, in greens and black. That is okay the way it is. There is nothing more to do about it unless I take another fluffy brush without any makeup on, and I'm just gonna first blend that edge and gently blend out. And I put and feather, put down and feather. So I'm tabbing, I'm just tabbing to give a nice fade. And as you see, I'm dragging the color up. I'm not taking fresh color or other color. And now I can do a windshield motion or around, whatever you like, to really define or blend out the edge. Now that that is done, we're gonna do a little bit of work on the lower eyelid. I'm gonna take a black pencil or felt-tip liner or whatever. Knowing a round shape with which you can absolutely refine or define this. The inner parts. That's what you need. And then form a drop shape. And then do asymmetrical drops. Make one side thicker so that it's optional gonna be lifted off of the skin. It's gonna be something like this. Perfect. To make these pop, you need real white. I use face paint. For the rest, I'm gonna do my lips, a little bit of blush around here, and make this just a grayish color. For magnetic falsies, I got a trick. You take the liner and the falsie and you apply liner on both and let it dry almost completely and then pop them together. You can easily peel it off afterwards. I'll show you on one eye. Very close to your lash and a bit on your lashes and really on the bottom and a bit on the magnetic side, specifically the bottom of it. Just wait a sec. Now I'm gonna take a light pink lipstick like this, not a bright, nothing fancy, no overlining, just your own thinnest lip size, only on the upper lip, high arch. I think my lashes now will be ready. Look at that, really very doll-like, and I love that. And I did that with magnetic falsies from wish.com. Ta-da! Now I'm gonna make this a little bit more grayish. That's much better. Taking this more brownish green. And now I'm gonna use that same color to go over this blended corner and just blend a little bit under with a flat, fluffy, clean brush. That is that. Now the only thing I need is blush. And I'm gonna use a fan brush to do so. And make it really pink on this outer part of your cheek. As you also don't really contour, this will be your highlight, your blush, your contour, everything in one. And a little bit of the blush in this area here where that tip is blended. Just dab a little bit of blush there and your doll face is ready. All I want to do is do a color. So I'm gonna draw that first with black eyeshadow. I'm gonna put you a little bit lower so you can follow. There, now you can see what I'm gonna do. And first of all, I'm gonna trace my neck. And as you see, I don't make that a perfect line. I just trace, let the brush follow my skin. Now there are three possibilities in this look. You can do the first color that only lays on the skin. You can do an entire under color, and then you can do lace around the color. But I'm gonna start by drawing the ribbons that I'm gonna have so that I know where. I don't have to draw the rest. Now I'm gonna start to draw here and here. So I am creating two lines, and from those lines there are going to be lines going outwards You gotta imagine that it's like a piece of paper that's gonna be folded. That's what I'm gonna try to draw. I've created, and I'm now gonna ignore that ribbon. You make 2 lines. One can be a full line, one can be a dotted line, and you make 2 outgoing lines in the middle of your neck and 2 next to it that also go open. So you gotta get around, and you can start your lines, but don't go to the dot line. There. It is not important to be perfect. What you're gonna do, this first one goes straight and passes by at least a centimeter that first folding line. And then you're gonna connect that corner from the second flap. You're gonna connect the corner to the first flap. Now this is a fold, so this fold has got to pass the next fold also by a couple of centimeters. So I'm gonna make this line and connect it to that next one. So this one is gonna start here and pass that one, so that that comes to this one. And every time you go back from your shorter line. So as you see, this is a folded collar. It's not that hard once you're doing it, but it's hard to explain how you do it. But what I'm also gonna do is round a second piece of fabric, so to speak, under that. And I think I might go for a blue. So I am going to make a line that is following. It's all just mapped out now. There is nothing perfect about it yet. And around that line, I'm gonna draw lace. So I'm not done yet, people. I'm not done yet. I'm having fun, but I'm not done. Now I'm gonna choose my colors, and I had thought about red and blue. A nice flat painting brush, and I'm gonna do my darkest color first, which is actually the red. So actually there the red and here the blue would be better, but it doesn't matter. You just use whatever you like. I'm gonna do red there. And I never do this. I always work in one direction. I lay my brush down and do that and go over again, because otherwise you're gonna have very streaky, very flaky, and not a pretty result. So now that I have done all of that, I am gonna do the second coat of red, so that I can clean out and use the same brush for the blue. So far for the red, I'm gonna clean my brush, gonna go over to the blue, and I'm just gonna paint this part. So now I'm not gonna take too much notice of that ribbon that I have drawn there. I will redo that later on. So while my battery was charging, I have done one side, and this I'm now gonna repeat on this side while you can follow it. I'm gonna go once more over my lips and then I'll do my in and outro. So this is the final result of my puppet look. I hope you liked watching this tutorial with me. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Leave some nice comments down below. Give me some thumbs up. Ring the notification bell to see whenever I upload a new video. And for me, there's as always just one thing left to say, and that is my love for makeup is spread all over to you, and I really hope to see you again soon in one of my coming videos. So for now,